Hello, my name is Claire McFadden, and I'm a freshman at Bloomsburg University studying in political science. Today, I'm going to be talking about the dangers of fentanyl and where it is coming from. So, to start, what is fentanyl? Well, it is a very highly potent and addictive synthetic opioid first produced in 1960. When used in small quantities in hospitals, it is very helpful to treat severe pain, such as advanced cancer pain. A standard dose of fentanyl is 0.05 milligrams per milliliter. As you can see, this is a very small dose. This is because fentanyl is typically 80 to 100 times more potent than morphine. This meaning it is also very easy to overdose on fentanyl. This drug becomes deadly when illegally mixed with heroin or cocaine to increase the euphoric effects of the drugs. So that brings us to the dangers of illegal fentanyl. As I said before, because of its high potency, it is very easy to overdose on fentanyl. It has also become one of the most highly addictive forms of synthetic opioids on the market today. Because it is cheap to produce and is taken in small quantities, drug dealers will often lace heroin or cocaine with fentanyl without the user's knowledge to make more product for a cheaper cost and to increase the euphoric effects of the drugs. Oftentimes, drug dealers will label heroin that has been laced with fentanyl as a more pure form of the substance. Since the rapid increase in the use of fentanyl, the amount of synthetic opioid-related deaths has increased significantly. Synthetic opioid-related deaths have risen to over 47% from 2016 to 2017. In 2016 alone, opioid-related deaths rose to over 42,000. So where is all of this fentanyl being produced? As of this year, China has been named as the primary source of illegal fentanyl from U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. The production of fentanyl begins in China and is subsequently shipped directly to the U.S. through the U.S. postal system or is shipped to Mexico to then be smuggled across the border into the U.S. Because fentanyl is taken in such small doses, suppliers are able to use envelopes to ship fentanyl through the postal service. In August, United States officials uncovered 30 kilograms of fentanyl in Southeast Virginia coming in from a vendor in Shanghai, China. According to officials, 30 kilograms of fentanyl is enough to kill 14 million people. So what has China been doing about this issue? Major arrests made last month in China put 9 individuals in jail on drug charges related to the production and distribution of fentanyl. 3 out of the 9 people charged were given life sentences, with the other 6 getting sentences ranging from 6 months to 10 years. China's National Narcotics Control Bureau has also implemented stricter scheduling controls on 2 of the major fentanyl precursor chemicals. These 2 precursor chemicals are NPP and 4A-NPP. These scheduling controls took effect on February 1st, 2018, but have done little to curb the amount of fentanyl flowing into the U.S. This raises the question as to why China has not been able to positively enact change. The U.S. has been actively urging China to make drastic actions to stop the exports of fentanyl. However, until recently, the United States' pleas have been merely heard and acknowledged, with little evidence to prove that China is making changes. While the arrests of the 9 individuals last month were a major victory for the war against fentanyl, a lot of people speculate that this action had ulterior motives behind it. Due to the ongoing trade war, tensions are high, and the United States and China will do anything to get the upper hand. Many people believe that these arrests were a way for China to gain the upper hand. This becomes especially plausible when you take into account how public the arrests and the trials were. One of the main reasons for the lack of change in fentanyl production and distribution is the massive lack of oversight that China has over its pharmaceutical and chemical markets. Due to its lack of oversight, a lot of illegal actions slip through the cracks without China ever even knowing. So this brings us to the United States. What can we do in the war against fentanyl. To start, we could increase efforts to stop the illegal fentanyl from coming in by increasing security and searches on shipments coming into the U.S. from China. Increasing the amount of security and electronic tracking on all shipments coming into the U.S. would greatly affect the amount of fentanyl coming in. Officials have reported that as much as 40% of packages coming into the U.S. postal system are not electronically tracked, meaning that they could be coming from virtually anywhere. Another way that we could help this war is the U.S. could go elsewhere for its pharmaceutical chemicals instead of relying solely on China. As of right now, China is the United States' main supplier of pharmaceuticals. According to the Heritage Foundation, 40% of global pharmaceutical output is from China. However, if the U.S. were to start looking into other suppliers for these chemicals, then maybe China would crack down on the illegal fentanyl operations in their own country. Another major way that the U.S. could fight this war on fentanyl is to reduce the demand for it. By combating the major drug problems in America, there would no longer be a need for the illegal fentanyl. There could no longer be a drug issue if there is no demand for the drugs. By cracking down on its own law enforcement and providing more outreach and support for those struggling, the United States could get rid of the demand for this drug, therefore stopping China from exporting it into the country in the first place.